Hey everyone, I'm Anya Esma, and today we are speaking about comfort zones and about going outside of your comfort zone and about growing in the discomfort and dealing with it and really trying to get to a place where you feel safer to go outside of your comfort zone. To be completely honest with you, right now I'm not in my comfort zone either because I only wanted to record this for my patrons. But then I decided it would be good if I also make a YouTube video about it so that I can just offer it to a larger audience than just my patrons because I think it's an important topic and it's fun to talk about. And I'm trying to achieve the same relaxedness that I would have with my patrons on YouTube so that I can post more often because I have the tendency to not post so often. So, this is me sitting here not being entirely in my comfort zone, not feeling like talking for YouTube, which is funny, because I would be okay if I was speaking to my patrons, but I'm not okay if I'm speaking to YouTube. That's an interesting little fact. And we'll talk about nuances like that put you inside or outside of your comfort zone as well in this video. So, if you often find yourself stuck because you don't want to do something that feels uncomfortable or you don't want to do something that feels like too much for you, but at the same time you feel a bit stagnant because of it, you feel like you should be taking a leap, but you just don't want to, then this video is for you because we're going to talk about all of that. For example, just to make it more clear what I'm even speaking about when I speak about comfort zones and going outside of comfort zones, it's going to look super different for whoever you are. It could be simply meeting new people, making new friends, talking to strangers. That could be completely outside of your comfort zone, or it could be inside of your comfort zone if you're an extrovert and you've done it 1,000 times. Or going to a community meetup if you want to become more politically active, going to a community meetup, trying to connect with people there, trying to take on a more active role. That could be outside of your comfort zone. It's definitely outside of mine until I will finally do it. um, Searching for a new job could be outside of your comfort zone because you feel very comfortable with where you're at in your current job, or making a change where you live, finding a new apartment, or going to a new city. All of that could be outside of your comfort zone. Or I guess the classic one is speaking in front of a bunch of people, whether that is in class, in university, at work, at an event, or wherever you would do that, wherever you would speak in front of a lot of people. So all of that could be things that motivate you to go outside of your comfort zone and to grow, or those could be things that scare you, that you want to avoid, that you don't want to do. And in the end, I think you decide whether you go past your comfort zone by making the decisions that you make every day. Because a lot of the time in my life, I could stay inside of my comfort zone every single day and I would still survive. I have built a life where I could stay in my comfort zone every single day and I would not starve. I would not, I don't know, nothing would happen to me. I have that privilege that I've built a very comfort zoney life for my own little bubble, my own little comfort zone. But at the same time, that does come with the burden of not growing and the burden of feeling like you are stagnating. So that's why it's a topic that has been on my mind for a long time, because for the majority of my life, I have really, really prioritized comfort over growth. There have been things that were uncomfortable that I did, like this YouTube channel that was incredibly uncomfortable in the beginning, but I felt this draw to make it like 8 years ago or whenever it was now. And yeah, in the end, it's a decision. It's a decision that you can make every day to go a tiny bit outside of your comfort zone. And I've been trying to do that more because I'm 33 now. And I feel like most of my growth and most of my going outside of my comfort zone happened between 25 and 30. And those were the 5 years where I really went out there. And before and after, it was a lot more calm. It was a lot more protected, you know? And due to the way I am, and due to all the fears I have, and all the limitations I have mentally or physically, I feel like I can't go outside of my comfort zone as much as other people, or at least that's what I told myself always to keep myself safe. But making brave decisions is really a way to expand, and it's fun in the end. And reprogramming your mind that challenges are fun is a huge task, but it's something that's possible. And that's what I want to talk about today and help you do, basically. So, the first thing that we need to understand about the comfort zone and about discomfort and growth is that staying within your comfort, where everything feels easy, where everything feels good, is your brain's way of protecting itself. Of course, all the things that we maybe learned were dangerous to us, or were at least scary, or brought discomfort for us, all of these things are things that we will try to avoid as we grow up. And I think sometimes our brain senses danger in things that could really help us grow, and that could really help us become more aligned and more happy and more content with our lives. But instead, we somehow fantasize that it's better to stay where we are and to not expand into those territories, you know? And that fear is valid, of course. I mean, there's many things that would put us outside of our comfort zone that are involuntary and that we wouldn't want to happen to us, like grief, bereavement, or losing our job, or I don't know, being kicked out of your apartment. All of these things are things that also put us outside of our comfort zone, but then it's not our decision. And of course, those are dangers to our brain. So why would our brain on its own say, okay, I'm going to quit my job and just search for a new one? We spend all of our lives trying to avoid that exact thing, trying to avoid stepping outside of that safety. And I think once you understand that, you can start questioning your brain a little bit more, and questioning whether every discomfort that you go through is really danger to you. And learning to recognize essentially what is good discomfort and what is bad discomfort, and figuring out, is this good discomfort that will help me grow, or is it bad discomfort that I really would rather avoid? It's really hard to tell apart, and most of the time, that is the joy of our human existence. We cannot tell, because simply quitting our job and thinking, I'll start my own business, or quitting our apartment and thinking, I'll find a new one, those things will put stress on you, and they might go wrong as well. You might fail at them, but you will still learn something from it. You know, that is what makes it difficult to say, is it good discomfort or bad discomfort? Because we cannot just define good discomfort by knowing that we will have a positive outcome. You cannot know that. But that doesn't make the discomfort necessarily bad if it doesn't have a good outcome, you know, because you still learn something. So I think for myself, I would say that good discomfort has the tendency to make you more excited. It can make you nervous, but it can also make you excited. It can make you think, yeah, I want to do that. It kind of brings up a curiosity of what would that be like if I did that thing? And it's also aligned with your values. Values are very, very important for discerning this difference between good and bad discomfort, and choosing whether you want to go outside of your comfort zone for a certain thing or not. So in converse, would you say that? I don't know. In reverse, Bad discomfort, looking at it, would be not aligned with your values. So asking yourself, is the thing that's going outside of my comfort zone aligned with my values or not, is the first big pointer. Then the feeling of, do you have nervous, positive excitement, or do you have this gut dread in you? This is not 100% foolproof. I would say that sometimes you have this incredible dread in your gut, and still you somehow grow from the experience and the discomfort is good for you. But at least it's one of the warning signs that you could look at whether you really want to do that thing or not. Um, and then also just the ethics of it. Do you think it's ethically correct to do it? Because, of course, we could also say, oh, I want to rob someone on the street. That would make me uncomfortable, and them too. But ethically, that's problematic. Morally, that's problematic. And it's also not aligned with your values. So here we would have a case of something that is maybe bad discomfort, and you should not be doing that, even if your little inner voice is trying to wreak havoc. I mean, the rubbing example was pretty extreme, but this could be anything. This could also be about, I don't know, telling someone that you're unhappy with their behavior, or what other examples do I have? Gossiping, I suppose, like talking badly about another person. It could feel uncomfortable, but you want to still do it. And you think, oh, I'm going outside of my comfort zone if I gossip about someone. But in reality, it's just not ethically or value based what you would usually do. There's too many examples. Like, help me in the comments of finding examples for going outside of your comfort zone, because this is so difficult. Because for everyone, it is so different what is outside and inside their comfort zone. It's so interesting. Anyway, so that was about how you can tell discomfort from literal danger by listening to yourself, by maybe even doing a tarot reading for yourself, or just reflecting, journaling, thinking about whether you feel like this could be an expansive decision that even if you fail at it, you will be glad that you did it, or is it something that is so outside of your comfort zone that maybe you should be taking smaller steps towards it rather than outright doing it. So the question that you always want to ask yourself is, am I avoiding this out of fear or out of wisdom? Am I avoiding it out of fear or out of wisdom? And that question will always be super hard to answer, because our brains will always tell us that it's right to not go outside of our comfort zones. And that takes some reprogramming and some rethinking in order to get over that feeling. So I want to talk about ways that you can make this easier, ways that you can make going outside of your comfort zone easier for yourself, so that you feel more able to do it and more ready to do it, even if you have some little dread in your stomach about it. So the first thing I want to talk about that I'm still working on, and it's not easy, is reprogramming that inner voice, that inner critic within you that immediately jumps to negative conclusions, such as if you go into a room at a meetup, at, I don't know, a party where you don't know anyone, whatever it is. You come into the room and your brain immediately tells you, I don't feel comfortable. I don't think I belong here. Let's go home. Or this could even happen earlier. It happens to me earlier all the time, and to other people too, where you want to go out and your brain is telling you, I want to stay home. I don't want to go out. I don't feel like it. I don't think it's going to be fun. I don't think it's going to be good for me. And half the time, if you then do go out, it will be a fun night or a fun day or whatever it is. And you will be happy that you went, you know? So questioning that inner voice that always wants to criticize you, keep you small, make you think that you can't do things, questioning that voice and replacing it with an encouraging voice. So seeing what it feels like if you are in the moment and you're thinking, I don't want to go out, or I don't think I belong here, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough to be at this panel, at this convention, whatever it is, to then also tell yourself the opposite and see how that feels, to pump yourself up essentially and say, actually, I do want to go outside because I'm happy to see that person, or I'm happy to meet new people. And I do think I'm capable because I've done this, this, and this. So let's see what we can do at this party, at this convention, at this whatever it is. Mm, yeah. So I think reprogramming that inner critic starts with offering a different perspective, because it is so loud inside your head usually. It's that loud voice that tells you, I am the rational brain part of you that is telling you you don't belong here, or that you shouldn't go, whatever it is. But in essence, it's just one of the voices in your head. Um, and if you put another voice in charge and say, how about today encouraging Anya instead of discouraging Anya is taking the wheel, and we replace all of those critical sentences, criticism sentences, with positive encouraging sentences, what happens then? You know, that's a valuable thing to try. And another thing, if you decide to go out of your comfort zone, is preparing to the nines, like preparing 100%, 110%, researching wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, rehearsing whatever you're doing, planning it, having a set plan of what you want to say, what you want to do, because that preparation is going to be like an anchor for you that makes you feel safe and that makes you feel like you are grounded. If you have none of that preparation and are just thrown into a situation, it's not going to be as easy, and your inner critic is going to be much louder again, and you're going to maybe not do it in the end if you don't prepare yourself enough. So even when you're uncomfortable, at least you are ready. Even when you're outside of your comfort zone, you're not feeling it, you have a pit in your stomach, at least you know that you've prepared and that you are theoretically, technically ready for it because you prepared. And you're not outside of your comfort zone and unprepared, because that is like an even more difficult combination to get over. So preparation is super important. And I feel like that makes it easier for me too. I'm not going outside of my comfort zone and being like, well, it's one extreme, staying in the safe zone, or the other extreme, going outside of it without any preparation and just being a crazy, um, you know, daredevil. You don't have to go that far. You can still prepare. You can still go through it 100 times in your mind of that situation, and it will still be good for you, and you will still be outside of your comfort zone, and you will grow from it. Then another thing I want to say is using tools to bring yourself in the right mindset. So whether we are talking about a job interview, going to view an apartment, a presentation at work, going to a meetup, going to a party where you don't know anyone, using either spiritual or non-spiritual tools to get yourself in the right mindset, it changes things. It changes things. So using music, for example, we all know that. How many times have we seen in movies that people, before they go for a night out, they hang out at home, they get ready, they listen to the right music, they hang out with their friends. You're already kind of have this entry level socializing, this entry level through the music, that gives you a taste of the overstimulation that awaits you. And I have a very, very prominent example for this, which is that The first time I went to a club for real was when I was 28 or so. I live in Berlin, so God knows there are many clubs I could have gone to for 28 years of my life, but I didn't because it wasn't my thing. It makes me uncomfortable. It's too loud. It's too many people. I don't love to drink a lot of alcohol, so it was really difficult for me. And only recently did I have this epiphany that in order to take that step from going home and then going to the club, it's too much. It's a too big step. So what helps me is being at home, getting ready, listening to music already that maybe goes from calm to a bit more clubby. Then not going to the club immediately, but going to a restaurant, going to a cafe, going to a bar, and then going to a club, because then I don't go from 0 or I don't know, 3 people around me to 300 people around me in the same room in the club, but I go from I'm at home alone, then I meet 2 or 3 people, then we are in a cafe where there's 20 people, and then we go to the club. And it's like this small expansion of my comfort zone, essentially. And it's like that every time, basically. It's very difficult for me to go like from absolutely nothing to 1000% when it comes to my comfort zone. So think about that for yourself as well. How can you take like a progression of steps that will get you ready for that event outside of your comfort zone? Another part of that is something like power poses. I know it's like a really debated thing whether power poses do anything, but I do think when you stand up straight and when you tell yourself some good words, it does change your energy and your mindset, and you are more ready to do things outside of your comfort zone. And a huge part of that is also affirmations. Um, because you can really cultivate that confidence. You can cultivate that readiness to go outside of your comfort zone rather than relying on it to just come naturally and magically to you, because then you will always fail. You know, I could go to the club 10 times from home directly to the club and I'd be like, this isn't for me. But when I do it in a slow progression of going to a bar, then going to a club, then I'm like, yeah, it's actually for me. I'm actually enjoying this. So it really depends on your preparation and the process that you have to get yourself in the right mindset. And this July on my Patreon, I have this goal of motivating you to go outside of your comfort zone and using the usual tools that I usually give to you, which is affirmations, journaling prompts. There's also an essay where I talk about more private things that put me outside of my comfort zone or that I want to do in the future. And there's also, of course, a tarot reading about the energies of the month. So if you are interested in going a bit deeper with that and having some of those tools that I just mentioned, we can yeah, we can go to my Patreon. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's not just you. Maybe it's me too. Yeah, check that out. I will put the link below, but we're not done yet with this video, so don't go yet. You can go after that. Yeah. So now we have some tools and some mindset shifts. And I think there's some more tools, some more things that we have to talk about with going outside of your comfort zone, which is that growth really often feels wrong at first. And that's something that we have to accept in order to be more open to that growth. You know, you can't expect it to feel right away. If there's something that you really, really want to do, but somehow it feels uncomfortable whenever you do it, then you can workshop what is your path of going there? How do you get yourself in the right mindset, in the right energy? What can you do? Because sometimes things that are right for us will not feel right immediately because growth is uncomfortable. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. So just be aware of that fact and workshop rather than discarding something immediately, essentially. And also be aware that taking tiny risks builds tolerance for bigger risks. And what I mean by risks, or tiny risks, is not even anything dangerous, but something that might feel dangerous to your brain. You know, we all have this weird programming of what is safe and what isn't safe. For example, maybe your brain is telling you that it wouldn't be safe to wake up and not take a shower, that you would smell all day and it would be terrible. Now, there's studies that you don't have to shower every day, blah, blah, blah. I just took the first example that came to my mind. So, taking a tiny risk and doing something differently and saying, okay, I'm not going to shower today, what happens then? You know, what's going to happen if you do that? Is it going to be dramatic or not? And by showing your body that maybe it's not so dramatic, you also open yourself up to bigger risks. So you're practicing stepping outside of your comfort zone in small ways. Yeah. And then also being aware, essentially, that failure is basically just feedback. If you fail at something, it's not proof that you don't belong somewhere. It's not proof that you're not good enough. It's not proof that you shouldn't be doing it. It's just proof that maybe you can workshop it some more to get more comfortable with it. And then your comfort zone will expand. Because the thing is that the more you stretch your comfort zone, the bigger it gets. Things that were absolutely outside of my comfort zone 10 years ago are now well within it. And I like to compare this to extreme sports as well, because in extreme sports, we have this idea of, you know, doing new tricks. If you are, I don't know, riding a skateboard, riding a BMX, surfing, whatever it is, there's going to be tricks that you think you're not going to be able to do, but you have to practice them. You have to practice them a million times, and then you'll be able to do them. And before long, those tricks are going to get boring to you. They won't feel like a huge thing anymore because you've done them a million times, even though in the beginning they felt really, really scary. And that applies to everything in our lives, in my opinion, where once you've done something often enough, it doesn't feel as scary anymore. It might even feel boring, and you might be like, well, damn, where's the next challenge? How can I grow now? Because I've gotten so comfortable with things that I thought I'd never get comfortable with. So, yeah, that's all that comes to mind. On my Patreon, I talk a lot more about this. In my essay, I get a bit more private, and I also have the affirmations. I have the journaling prompts that you can do. You can draw tarot for yourself. I will also do a tarot reading for you for the energies for the month. So do check that out. This was very fun. This was a one-shot video. I'm trying to one-shot in the sense that I'm not going to edit it. I'm trying to upload more on YouTube, just like I said in my last video, where I read tarot for you guys. And it's really difficult for me if I know that I have the whole editing process coming at me. So it's so much easier if I just record and I just upload it. And I'm just like, it's out in the world. I don't have to transfer it to my PC. I don't have to then render it. I don't have to do all of these things. I can just upload it, and that makes me very happy. And I think that's the last thing I want to say. That is also to do with my comfort zone, because I hate transferring data. I hate transferring data because every time I'm afraid that I'm going to mess it up. Something will get deleted. Something will happen. So how do I avoid that? How do I avoid it? And the answer is I just immediately upload the YouTube video without editing it. Easy. So yeah, it just meant that I have to get better at talking, at not taking breaks, at not breathing, not drinking, but just talking, so I don't have to edit the video so much and do all of the runaround of having to edit and render a video and then upload it, rather than just uploading it. So yes. Thank you for watching till here. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best. If you want to step outside of your comfort zone, you can tell me about it in the comments if you want. I usually reply to all of them because I don't get a million comments. So I'm very happy to hear from you there. And I'm also very happy if I see you on my Patreon. I will link that below. It's just patreon.com/Anya Esma. Really simple. And there you can become a member and get more exclusive content, just like this videos, but also a ton of journaling prompts. I have so many tarot spreads on there already from the years past. So it's a lot of fun there. Come over. All right. Thank you so much and see you next time.